All right, boys, let's move on to running backs here.
Okay.
So we're kind of talking about running backs. I'm just going to run down who's going to be the chalk and what ownership is looking like. We got Zeke coming in about 28 to 30%. Miles Sanders, 24 to 27%. Derrick Henry, 24 to 27. Drake, 24 to 25. Jonathan Taylor, just above 20%. Jerick McKinnon, 20%. And then Mike Davis coming in at about 16%. Joe Mixon.
This is really going with my plays.
Joe Mixon, 16%. Josh Jacobs, 14%. And then Melvin Gordon, who I will not be playing, is right along with Dalvin Cook, who I will be playing at 12%. So that's kind of where we're looking at.
Who are the top three, Jim? You said Henry's going to be up there. And
Zeke is projected to be the highest owned. Miles Sanders, Derrick Henry, and Kenyon Drake are the top four highest owned running backs.
Okay.
So for me, we've been talking about Miles Sanders. Like, this is one that I'm just going to play. The usage is there. I really don't care that he's going to be 27, 28% owned. I'm going to play him. I'm going to play Derrick Henry. And I'm going to play Kenyon Drake, and I'll find my discounted ownership somewhere else. It's okay to play high-end chalky guys when they're just in smash spots, right? Like, we already talked about some of the ways that you could get weird with it, with the Bengals stack and then play Miles Sanders, or hell, you could even play Miles Sanders with Ertz and Wentz, right? As kind of a triple stack. But, like, I'm much more willing to play a guy like that than I am to play Jerick McKinnon at 20% when I can play Jeff Wilson Jr. at, 3% ownership for $4,000.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, like, I think, too, a contrarian lineup is going to be, like, if, because Miles Sanders is only $6,400. So, like, you could start your lineups like Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake, and then like another like $6,000 running back, right? And then that's contrarian right there, because not a lot of people are going to do that. A lot of people are going to get, one of these top end running backs, and then they're going to go looking for something else, right? And then they're going to drop all the way down to Mike Davis, or they're going to, drop down to Jerick McKinnon. I don't think a lot of people are going to play two guys in the 6,000s this week. I just don't really see that happening. So you can really get yourself, differentiated in ownership that way as well.
Yeah, and bouncing off of that, I am one of those guys that's staying in the 6,000s this week.
Yep.
I really like James Conner this week. That first week, I think, scared a lot of people. He tweaked his foot or whatever. But last week, he came out 16 carries, over 100 yards and a touchdown. I think he had 3 targets as well. He's going against the Texans' run defense that is borderline pathetic. It's terrible. And the big thing for Pittsburgh is DeCastro is back this week. That is one of the best run guards in the league, is David DeCastro. And he's for sure coming back this week. He's a full participant Wednesday and Thursday. So I got Connor in a heavy amount of lineups there at 6,800. Miles Sanders, I'm getting chalky with. I don't care. I'm with you guys, especially if Atkins and Daniels are out. That's just a smash spot. Screw it. Another guy that might be a little sneaky that I'm really high on is Montgomery for Chicago. The Bears' run offense has actually been grading super high on PFF. All their linemen are actually grading high in the run, and Montgomery's getting the looks. And Atlanta's run defense has not been proving anything. So at 5,700, that's the lowest I'm going to go at running back is for Montgomery. I got some Henry just because I feel like even though he's high owned right now, he might go down because he fucked over a lot of people last week. So he might go down a little bit.
I think one thing
those are my guys.
I think one thing too we got to mention when we're talking about ownership is, there's just not a lot of people looking at ownership. There's still, even some of the single entry contests, like the $12 single entry, there's still 29,000 people in that, right? Like, these people aren't looking at like, oh, well, Derrick Henry's chalky. They're going to do exactly what Joey said, right? They're going to look at him and be like, oh, well, I paid X amount for him and he lost me money last week. I'm never playing him again, right?
That's why I like him. Like
exactly. I think
100%.
he's in a spot this week. And the thing is, Henry just hasn't gotten a touchdown this year. He's getting the carries. Nothing's changing there. His volume is the same. He's just not getting touchdowns. Tannehill's been throwing them. There's going to be adjustments. Minnesota's defense is terrible. Derrick Henry could get 3 touchdowns this week. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
So, and then we were kind of talking too. One guy I forgot to mention that I have in a ton of lineups. I also have a lot of Connor, but I also have a lot of Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I'm not scared of that split.
As long as Herbert is playing quarterback, I'll play Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
I don't care about the split. If it's Tyrod, I will not play Eckler.
The offense isn't moving.
They're not doing anything, right?
Yeah, and the Panthers' defense is fucking garbage. It is
so
without
bad.
a doubt the worst rated defense in the NFL, player by player. Brian Burns is literally their only positive netted defensive player. So even if Eckler only does touch the ball 15 times, he still might outscore all the other running backs.
Yeah, so and Eckler's one of those guys too that scores from, they've been giving the ball to Joshua Kelly in close, but like he normally scores his touchdowns from, 30, 20, 40 yards out, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not a guy that like he does score some if they give him the ball, he can score by the end zone, but they're just not right now. So, yeah, the only other guy for me to drop way down is I am going to play some Jeff Wilson Jr. He's $4,000. The Niners they're playing the Giants. The Niners are decimated at running back. Jerick McKinnon is a player that Kyle Shanahan wants to have around all year and it'd be a big part of their game plan. Jeff Wilson Jr. is not. Right, he's not part of the Niners' long-term program or plan, right? Like he's just not. So those are basically going to be the only 2 warm bodies in the backfield. I could easily see them just giving Jeff Wilson the ball 20 times and just saying, "Hey, have fun with it." And against the Giants' defense, I mean, you saw what happened last weekend against the Jets, and I think the Giants have a worse run defense than the Jets do. That's what the numbers say. But Vin, where are you going for running back?
So I'm kind of with you guys. I mean, I do like Henry. I'll try to get him into as many lineups as possible, but I'm not going to force it. Like, I think as much, even if they are chalk, I said this last week, like I don't mind eating running back chalk because it's the few, like one position that I can guarantee touches and I can guarantee like a floor,
Yes.
So just give it to me and get me into the dance and I'll figure it out, with the others. And so I think on my Henry lineups, if he's going to be that chalky, those will be the ones that I'll pair him with like my Trubisky lineups, my like totally different contrarian, like quarterback receiver stacks. But I do like Taylor a lot. The Jets are absolutely horrible. I mean, Mostert took the first play of the game 80 yards against them. Like, they're just so bad, dude. And I think Indy with that offensive line is just – they're not going to, like, risk anything with Rivers throwing 3 picks like he could. They're just going to pound New York into oblivion. So I like Taylor a lot. I really like Connor. Houston's run defense is terrible. Sanders, I'll be all over. I do like McKinnon. And Jeff Wilson's on my list as well as far as my one major pay down guy. But the one guy that's a little sneaky that I like, if Zach Moss missed practice last 2 days, and if he's not going to play, I'll go big on Singletary at 4,900 that Bills team.
Yeah, that'll be an absolute smash spot if Moss can't go and he's just going to get all of that. I think, though, if you're going to play that, I think you almost have to play Allen with him to make sure that you just get all of the rushing touchdown equity from Buffalo. Because if you just play Singletary by himself, he could get sniped 2 or 3 times down by the goal line by Josh Allen.
Well, yeah, Allen's going to run in every ball that he can.
I know. So that's why I'm saying, like, I think if you're going to play him, I think you almost have to play Josh Allen with him.
No, I hear you for sure. And I think it would be more of a play, like, in that sense where you say, look, I'm cool with 50 yards on the ground. Maybe you get lucky and he pops one in and he catches 5, 6, 7 balls, dumped down for the Rams. You got to My thought behind it would be like Aaron Donald's going to be in his face quickly, and he's just got to dump that ball. Like,
yeah, but like if we're looking in that range, like that's a great direct pivot off of McKinnon, same price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it comes at like 12 to 14% less ownership.
For sure. And that's why I'm hoping that like Moss, that news comes out early, because I think a lot of people might think that and pivot, and it, at the very least it will balance out and take McKinnon down some, so that's where I'm kind of leaning. I was really debating on Zeke and Henry, like who's going to be my up top guy. I'll probably only have 40% shares in one of them. I'm just going to pick one and go with it, because my favorite build right now is I can start every lineup with Taylor, Connor, and Sanders, and just go to the, just take the squares and just move on.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm looking at my builds that I have so far, like it's Sanders, Drake, Connor, Sanders, Drake in the flex, Henry, Wilson, Eckler in the flex, Eckler, Sanders, Eckler, Sanders, Taylor in the flex. I mean,
I'm just not like a Drake guy, and I know he had like a really good year last year with Arizona. I think their offensive line sucks, and I think Kyler, they're just giving him free reign to do what he wants with that offense. Like, there's nothing wrong. The play is obviously way down in price, and Detroit sucks. Like, that's going to be a high flying game, but I'm just not a Drake guy, so like I'm just not playing it.
I mean, last week against a pretty good. I mean, he's played two of the best like running defenses in San Francisco and Washington, and he's gotten 60 and 86 rushing yards. Like they're using him, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I think that game's going to be more of a shootout than people think. Just kind of like we were talking about earlier. I don't love that he's super high owned.
Yeah.
But like, again, like I'm not playing him all over the place. And in the lineups that I do have Drake, I have other weird guys like Galladay, right? Who's projecting at like 6% ownership right now.
I just don't like Drake being chalk. If Drake was going to be like 5, 8, 10%, like for me, I totally get it. But like, I mean, I'd rather play like a chalky Miles Sanders, or I'm going to play a chalky, like I'll play a chalky McKinnon, the only show in town pretty much in San Francisco, than Drake, where there's like Chase Edmonds, and then Kyler, the same thing as Josh Allen, right? Like, they could be driving and Drake could be getting the ball all the way down the field, and all of a sudden Kyler just takes off for 40-yard scores.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I only have Drake in two lineups. One of the lineups that I have him in, it's with a Murray stack, right?
So yeah, I get the play for sure. I just at least how I have it right now, my player pool, I don't have Drake in there, but maybe that's something I should take a look at.
I have Drake in one or two, but I'm not going heavy on him. I feel like I gotta have him a little bit, but that's
it's like a 20% play for me. I'll have him in I'll end up probably having him in 3 lineups. I have him in 2 right now, so and I still have about 8 left to build. So